I am live here, everyone. Hopefully, you can hear me. Let me just set up my other device so that I can see the chat. Okay, so when you come in the chat, you can let me know if you can hear me or not. I hope everyone. Okay, so I believe you can. So now I hear myself. That's perfectly fine. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Right? So I hope you guys are doing well and had a wonderful weekend. Today's Monday, I think is the 10th of November. All right, so right now, today, I'm just having a chill live as usual. But at the same time, I want to show you how to make this. Because remember last week I said I made this turban, and this is the turban. Let me put on some light here because I think it's a bit too, yeah. All right, so I made this turban and I had it on last week. I wanted to show you guys how it's made. It's quite simple, and this is for beginners, right? It's very beginner friendly, very, very easy, and it's also fashionable. It's nice for the cold days as well. I hope you guys would enjoy it. Quite simple. All right, so it's nothing too serious today, nothing as usual. No, I'm just gonna do this tutorial. I wasn't planning on putting on a video that have a tutorial in it, but I decided as it's quite simple, let me just do this as a tutorial. All right, so I just wanted to hang out here with you guys, do a bit of stitching and chat while I work on this hat. Right? Okay, let me just adjust something here. Okay. All right, so here we go. Grab yourself something to drink, either a cup of tea, water, or you just want to relax after a long day at work. That's not a problem at all. When you come in the chat, you can say hi, hello, and have a conversation. If not, as I said, just relax with your drink of choice and have a look at what I'm doing. That will be fine. If you have any questions, just kindly ask them. All I ask is for you to be respectful. There's no need for there's no need for terrible behavior. Let me just put this light on here. Right? So there's no need for bad behavior. All we want is just to have a good time. If you don't like what I'm doing because you don't have an interest in sewing, that's fine. Just you can just leave, right? You can just give me the thumbs up and you can just leave, which is perfectly fine. No problem at all. All right, so let's just get started. All right, so as I said, last week I cut this pattern was to show you how I made this simple hat. I actually made one this morning. Let me show you. I actually made this one this morning. Right, so I just want to show you how it's made. You can wear it summer, winter, or fall, any time of year. It doesn't really matter. It's up to you as an individual. Okay, so last week I cut this pattern here, and it all depends on your head circumference. What I do is that if your head is if your head circumference is, say for example, 20, say 23, right? Because this measurement across the circumference of the head, I measured 54 centimeters, and the 54 centimeters is approximately 51 and a quarter. Let's just round it to, I mean, sorry, 21. Let's just round it up to 21. It's actually 21 and a quarter. So my head circumference is 21. For example, what I did, I, cut this 21 1/4. The reason why is because the hat is going on my hair as well. Because once I measure it, let me show you again. Once I measure around, I have the tape measure on my hair as well. If I lift my hair, then it would be 21. If I have it on my hair, it would be more than 21. So once you measure it, however you measure it across on top of your hair, like myself, then I would make it slightly smaller. All right, so let me show you. I have here, if I put this all the way across, I have this 25 1/2, right? And remember my head measurement is 21. So that's about, say, 4.5 centimeters less because the material stretch, so it would stretch across your head circumference. So that's how you do that. And the material that you use to make these hats are stretch material. For example, this one is like a rib type of material, a rib knit. So it has a lot of stretch going across. So, when you cut it, you have to cut it where the ribbon is going to stretch across your head. With that, I hope I'm making sense. If you don't understand, or if it's kind of complicated, just let me know. Give me just a moment. Hi, hello. Okay, so as I said, my circumference is 21, approximately 54 centimeters, and it depends on how tall you want it because we're going to gather it in at the back seam. We're going to gather it in at the back seam like this. It depends on how much ruching or gathering you want, then you make it higher. But my length here is 41 centimeters. It's all subjective. It's up to you how tall you want it and how much ruching you want. And this width going across the head, it has to be your head circumference. Okay, so let's get started here. So if you're new, and as I said, this is for beginners, right? So once you pin your pattern onto, once you put your paper onto the fabric, you can mark this. And I think for beginners, this would be much better. So whenever you cut, you wouldn't cut into the paper. It's all up to you. If you're very good at cutting and you're not going to cut on the paper, then go right ahead and cut it like this. So I'm just going to cut this. If you have any questions, as I said, you can ask in the comments section. I will repeat. All I ask is for people to be respectful to each other as well as the host. All right, because there's no need for bad behavior, especially on this channel. Okay. All right, so once you finish cutting, you remove your pins. you're going to use your pattern again, always put your pattern in a safe place. Right now, I'm just going to rest it right here before I pin it onto my board. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to cut is the piece for the front. And this piece is measured, I think, 4 inches by 5. So you just cut one of this. You do the same thing, you mark it out and take off the pattern if you cannot cut without cutting into the paper. If not, you go ahead and you cut your piece out like this. Okay, so we have all our pieces cut. And by the way, you can make this hat on the overlocker. If you don't have an overlocker machine, you can use your straight stitch machine, but use the zigzag stitch. I think I explained the reason why it's better to use the zigzag stitch. If not, I'm going to repeat it for who's watching. Okay, so because the zigzag stitch is going like this, when you stretch the material, the thread follows the stretch. That's all. If you stitch it straight, it's going to break the stitch. Okay, so you find your right sides. Make sure that your right side is what it really should be. Okay, so what I'll do first on the wrong side, you're gonna have it like this, but you're gonna turn up. I usually turn up approximately 4 centimeters, 4 to 5. It all depends. This is 5. It all depends how wide you want the brim here. So once you turn that up, we're gonna pin that across. And make sure you measure. Just don't pin unless you know exactly what you're doing. Always use your pins. You measure and you pin. And remember, your fabric is going to be very stretchy, so you have to be careful and not pull. Just tap it down. Right? Don't pull, because once you pull that, you'll overstretch the material. Okay, so that's it right here. Then all I'm going to do, let me show you before you do that. So see, it's pinned all the way around here. Then I am going to turn this, oh Lord, I'm going to turn this like so. And then I'm going to stitch that like 0.5 centimeters, like a 1/4 inch stitch straight along. Basically just to hold this in. You can do it like this and stitch it like that, or you can turn it another time and you can stitch that same 1/4 inch along, but you have to make sure that this is inside the stitch, right? So I'm giving you the easy way to do it so that you don't, you know what I didn't do? I didn't change my thread. I was working earlier with that thread. Okay, so let's just do that now. Okay. Okay, so that didn't take long. All right. So as I said, you can do that or fold that over again. Same two, I mean, same 5 centimeters, 4 centimeters, or however wide, and you just give that a quarter of an inch stitch straight along. Let me see. I don't think this is set. Let me just fix this so you guys can see what I'm doing here. I think that's better. Okay. So with this stitch, I'm gonna set my machine to that zigzag. The thread came out, so it's taking me a while to get this thread in the needle. So let me know if you're enjoying the video so far. Oh my goodness, this is taking longer than... Ah, are you serious? Oh my lord, you know what? The thread is a brown thread, so you know, I could hardly see this thing. No way. Let me get closer. Wow, finally. Okay, so let's just continue that. So what you do when you stitch it like that, you create a cuff like for the front. Okay, so that's done. We're gonna put that right side to right side. Make sure that your right side is together, right? You can use, as I said, you can use your overlocker stitch if you do, I mean, your overlocker machine. If you don't have your overlocker machine, you can use your straight stitch. I'm going to overlock this, but first I'm going to stitch it and then overlock it. So you're going to stitch this all the way up to the end. So I'm just going to overlock this end so it has a nice finish. Okay, so I have it overlocked here so that it's nice and neat. All right, so this is the side that we stitch, okay? What's gonna happen here, we're gonna stitch that, but first I'm gonna leave out about 4 or 5 centimeters, a very small, maybe about 4, because this stretch so much, you only need a small space. But what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna estimate the 4 centimeters. I'm gonna notch that about 1 centimeter in. That's what I'm gonna do first. And right where I notch to the next, I am gonna turn that in so that it has a fold. But before that, I'm gonna overlock just that space for now. Okay, so as you see here, I just have that space overlock. So I'm just gonna turn that over and I'm gonna stitch that. Hi, hi Holly, welcome. Okay, so this is what it should look like once you're done, right? You have that fold over and you have this two peak here. Okay, so you're gonna put this together again. All right, this is how it's supposed to be. And then I'm gonna stitch from the side seam straight across up to this point. Over here, I'm going to use a straight stitch for this because there is no way I'm going to pull this. The pull is going to be here. So I'm just going to stitch that straight across. All right, so you see I stitched that straight across. I'm going to overlock the edge right here. So this is how your hat should actually finish before you do anything else. All right, so we're going to move on to the tab. This bit, there's 4 inches by 5 inches. So again, you're going to look for the right side, and the 5 inches side is the one you're going to stitch on. You're going to stitch that and close that up. And your seam allowance is all subjective. If you want 1 centimeter seam or you want something much closer, okay, you can do that. Right, zigzag stitch on this one. Right, so you have your 1 centimeter seam over here. Turn this inside out. And once you turn the inside out, kind of open the seams. And if you notice, the seam is right in the center, not on the side. So I have it all on the center. Okay, so we're going to grab the hat, and right in this opening here, right in that opening, the right side of the tab, not the side with the seam, right? That's where, and the hat is on the wrong side, but you're going to put it in on the right side of the tab. If I'm not making myself clear, please let me know. All right, and you're just going to push that right into that space. Right, so your right side is going to be on the right side of the material inside. Right, and you're just going to pull the hat up. Pull the hat up. You're going to take your tab, right side, the side without the seam. That's how you're going to have this. All right, and then you're going to stitch that to close off here. You're going to stitch the 2 ends of the tab together. It might be a bit difficult. It depends on the texture of the material, the weight of the material. This material is quite thick, so take your time. And if you have to clip them or pin them together, just do that. Right, so you can clip that end together so that hold that in place while you stitch the other end. first it might be a bit, as I said, it depends on the material. It might be a bit stiff, I mean, thick. So what you do is just try to roll the tab, the piece that you sew, just turn it onto the wrong side. Just turn it all the way over. So the side that has the raw edge is underneath and also on the wrong side of the hat. All right, so you're gonna fix your the gathering or the ruching right here. See why you don't open the hole here too much? That's just because when you do that, it's going to be seen. So you can always, if it's too wide, you can take a needle and thread and just kind of tack that off. You see, it stretches and then you can just close that in right here. And I'm going to do just that for now so you can actually see what I'm talking about. So you just take a needle and thread and you go back and forth, just to close up that space. Okay, so cut that thread and you just go back and check to see if it's closed up enough. This is quite cute. All right, we're not done yet. Okay, so this at the back, you see right at the back here, this is where we got to ruche up, but we're gonna use elastic. Sometimes maybe you can fold this like that. It all depends. As I said, this style, this design is all subjective as far as how you want the back here. You would maybe put the pleats like this. If you don't have elastic, you don't really have to use elastic. And you can just make some pleats just like this, going, sorry, going down. I think I'm gonna do this because I didn't do any of the hats like this. So I'm gonna do this. Other than that, you can cut a piece of elastic, stretch it and stitch it all the way down. It still gives you the same effect. But I think because of this type of material, I think this would look fabulous with pleats. So you just have your pleats. The only difference is that when you put the hat on, you have more stretch, but that's all, that's okay. So you see, you can put the pleats in the hat like this going down. It all depends. I think that's what I'm going to do because once you turn it over, you will have more of a define. You can see here, it looks really nice going down. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do now. I'll take these out because I don't like working with so many pins in the way. Other than that, you can use elastic. I have an elastic here, and your elastic doesn't have to be very big. It can be a quarter of an inch or something like that, maybe 1/8 or something. Right, but I don't want to use this. I think I'm gonna do the pleats instead. Okay. All right, so your pleats is just gonna be not too big, quite small, but not too small again. And when you're stitching over bulk, take your time. If you have to stop, not press your pedal and use your hand and turn to go over the bumps, then do that. Don't press and then break your needle. Take your time and go over the humps. All right, so I come to the end of where I turn up my 5 centimeters. So that's my last pleat. So I'm just gonna finish off right there. And what you'll do, you'll come right down to the end. It's not gonna hurt to give it a double stitch. So if you have to do that, bring it all the way to the end. If you want, you can always go over this pleat again just to secure them in place. So what I'm gonna do, turn the material around and just go over this one more time, just to secure them. Okay, and then you clean up your work. Always clean up your work, make them look nice, not too many threads hanging off your garments, because it doesn't look nice. So clean up your work after you finish. All right, so you see I have this piece right here, that's the seam in the back right here. I'm going to tack that down so it doesn't look too like it doesn't get in the way. So I'm just gonna fold it over onto the band, and I'm just gonna give it a tack right here. Okay, so that's done. And you can see how the pleats look really nice in the back. I like the look of that because it look as though it's a design that goes in and out between the pleats. Looks really, really nice. So now when you finish, make sure you finish this by making sure that your tab, this thing right here, the band, is is fixed right across. If you don't, you can always, this is the center seam, do like that in the center back, go across and see if it's in the center. You see it's not in the center here. So what you need to do is just bring that across, right? So see, it's almost there. Bring that across until it's in the center, like that. See, it's in the center now. So you have to fix that, make sure, other than that, your hat would look twist on your head if you don't fix it. All right, so that's that. I'm gonna put this on and I'm gonna come right back so you can see what it looks like. Hopefully it looks good. So give me a moment. I am back. I'm gonna show you guys how it looks. So this is what it looks like, and I think it looks really good. See, when you put it on, what you need to do is to obviously look in the mirror and then make sure that it is nice and straight. It looks really, really good in the back here, right? So that's how simple, or I think this hat would be perfect for when it gets really cold. It feels really nice on my head, nice and warm. I love it. Okay, so that's it. And I really appreciate you guys coming in the live to see what I'm doing today. Hopefully I see you guys next week. I hope you guys had a good time. For the replay gang, thank you for watching and have a good rest of the week. All right, and I'll see you guys next Monday. All right, so take care.